Welcome to Real Flix Reviews. We're like a book club for people hate reading. This month we're doing Robin Williams drama, so Ryan picked the movie Good Will Hunting, made in 1997. We talk about Firefly Episode 7, and we bring you movie news at the end of the program. This week we have Jonathan Charney, James Stevens, Ryan Preston.
The old guy's here.
So Ryan, what's this movie about?
Good Will Hunting, 1997, directed by Gus Van Sant. Will Hunting, a janitor at MIT, has a gift for mathematics but needs help from a psychologist to find direction in his life.
I think we should also state, and if you guys don't know this, it's actually written by Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. I mean, this is the one thing that probably really kickstarted their career.
Yeah, and I think it was their first real legitimate writing credit, and they won an Oscar for it for Best Original Screenplay.
Which is a great way to start your career, and it's a possible great way to end it too, getting something right off the bat.
Yeah, but it made their careers.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
They've managed to sustain for quite a long time now. So.
Well, at least Matt Damon, Ben Affleck had issues.
I'm going to get around to Ben Affleck in the news. Wait.
I got to say, the one reason I love this movie so much is Robin Williams, especially in this movie, has an ability to project vulnerability that I don't think any actor ever has been able to come across on screen.
Wait, you know that scene when he's sitting there and talking about how his wife used to fart in her sleep, or when she got nervous and in her sleep? That was completely ad-libbed by Robin Williams. That entire section, and Matt Damon was just laughing so hard that they decided, you know what, just gotta let it go. Casey Affleck ad-libbed pretty much all of his lines as well,
and it worked.
So it worked
really
great
well
for him too.
My favorite scene in this movie is when the first time Matt Damon's character meets Robin Williams, and he starts, at the end of it, talk shit about his wife, and Robin Williams grabs him by the throat and says, "Don't you ever." That whole scene right there kind of sums up their relationship. At first, very adversarial, but you could see Robin Williams actually kind of cared for the kid, even though he didn't know him.
Well, he drew a line in the sand, is what he did.
But he said.
And this is what this kid needed. He needed structure.
Drew a line in the sand in the way that his character would sort of understand.
Exactly.
Because they both, the reason they were hooked up together in the first place is because they came from the same place.
Yeah, right. They're both Southies.
Right.
Well, when they got on the bench after that, after he kind of, after that whole section, and he gets there and he says, "Come with me," and he takes him out to the bench, and, he's like, "Are we having a Folgers moment, or what's going on?" And he's sitting there, and then Robin Williams ad-libs that whole section.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah. Yeah, ad-libbed that as well. He's sitting there and he's talking to him, and he's like, "Do you know what it smells like in the Sistine Chapel?" And that, he got the gist of what the lines were, but then he continued to ad-lib on top of it. But it's just amazing the way that he does that, because he really puts that guy in his place by pointing out to him, yeah, you may know a lot, but you didn't know jack shit.
Yeah, that's my favorite scene in the movie.
Yeah,
right. And I would also add that you could tell I always thought the way Robin Williams said it, you could also tell him the hurt in his voice. I love this character is probably one of my all-time favorite Robin Williams character, just because the emotions he really portrays without really doing it, if that makes sense.
Well, and he was pointing out that just reading books alone is not the whole picture. And at that point, Damon's character, that's what he was able to do. You saw his ability to digest a book by just flipping through pages, and he remembered it all. So
when we pulled up to start the show, I was trying to find something, and one of the things I was trying to find is I was searching to see how Matt Damon casted Robin Williams for this role, because I could see him almost basically pulling a Tarantino. If Robin Williams does not play this specific character, this movie's not going to get made, because that's what Tarantino did with his first film, Reservoir Dogs, with Harvey Keitel.
Right.
And I could almost see that, but I was trying to think, what would he have seen to judge that Robin Williams could have played this role? What movie in Robin Williams' repertoire had been made previously where you could see that? I couldn't really think of anything, but That's what I was trying to find, is how he decided to go with Robin Williams, because
Robin Williams has really only ever had like kind of little moments here and
Yeah.
there.
But I would add, there's a couple of movies to that. I would add Awakenings for one, was one
Yeah.
of the very first movies. I would say Dead Poet Society, where you get to see
that's
a
good
more
one.
version of him who actually cares about the kids. You know, the scene where he's going carpe diem. You know.
Yeah, I was just trying to see if Matt Damon had done that, but I only saw something where Matt Damon was talking about that Robin Williams did like ad-libbed a section and he decided to keep it, and that's one of the few changes that they allowed in the movie. But it's just one of those things, like how good of a role he played in there, that I could see him almost being like, this guy's got to be him.
And I have to admit, I almost feel bad sometimes watching this because Ben Affleck and Matt Damon are really the stars, especially Matt Damon. But to me, this is more like starring Robin Williams with the two other guys, because I still think Matt Damon's character was a little flat.
I think for what he set out to do, he did an amazing job. Even when they're sitting there and he's talking to him and he's like, you know what the best part of my day is pulling up and having in that 10 seconds on my walk to that door, the way he delivered that line and he talked to him, and like pretty much when he's saying, you're not going to be a success because of yourself. You're going to be a success because of us. We want you to do that. We don't want you to be here and stuck, because you can do better.
Yeah,
that whole section right there was amazing.
Yeah, and what was the other line? Something about, and you're a winning lottery ticket, but you're afraid to cash it in.
Yeah.
Right, and he said it perfectly. He's like, you don't owe you. Fuck you. You owe us.
Yeah.
Because I'm never gonna get out of here. I think he said something like, I'm gonna wake up tomorrow and be 40
No, 50.
Yeah.
or 50. So
Yeah. We said
sums it up right there. And I don't think Matt Damon was flat. I think that's almost how his character was supposed to be.
That's what I'm trying to say.
The scene we brought up before with him at the park, where Robin Williams is basically explaining to him, your frame of reference for life is based off of these books, not life itself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he almost doesn't have the experience to be, more. He is just that knowledge in his head. That's all.
The other thing that was hitting him was the blue collar lifestyle that he grew up with and what that was all about. He had no point of reference for academia and what his talents really were. He really said, I got to be a auto mechanic. I got to be a plumber. I got to be an electrician. I got to be, I'm a blue collar type of guy.
Well, it was almost like, no, I don't deserve this. I deserve to be a brick buster. You know what I mean? Like that's what he felt his lot should be.
And Professor Gerald Lambeau, Stellan Skarsgård, like when he's talking to Robin Williams at the bar, and he's like, I don't get why he's hanging out with these deadbeats.
Right.
And Robin Williams turned to him and goes, no, you don't get it. That's loyalty.
Yeah.
And that's why he wasn't going to leave, is because of the loyalty. And I like what he says is, if he asked any one of these guys, they would come and bash your skull in.
Yeah.
And when they're in the car and he sees that guy that used to pick on him in kindergarten, they're like, we're going. And Kay's like, I ain't get out of the car. He turns around and goes, you get out of the car. If you do not get out of the car, when I come back, I'm dealing with you next. Because that's just the loyalty that he had with those four guys. You don't want to go out there and have to get arrested after beating these guys up.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I kind of agree with Casey Affleck when he's like, we got snacks now. What are we doing?
Yeah, I kind of get that too,
No, you're right, though. I mean, kind of like that's the loyalty of friends have. And I think that was one of the reasons why the ending scene worked so well with Ben Affleck saying, I'm going to kill you if you don't get out of here.
Yeah.
And Matt Damon's like, what? Say, no, I'm actually going to fucking kill you.
Yeah, no, that's one of the best scenes of the movie. Also, just because of the frustration, if you've ever had a best friend, how frustrated you can get sometimes at the seemingly dumb shit they do to themselves.
Yeah.
You're frustrated because just like I know you're better than this. What's going on here? And that was a great moment. You know what I mean? And it showed exactly that. Just like what the hell's going on here? I can't let you do this to yourself.
I will see I love the scenes that kind of show his genius, to kind of switch topics a little bit. My favorite part on that one is when he walked into his girlfriend's place, hand her that napkin with the answer to the formula, and a scene following that when she was talking about, wait, you studied organic chemistry? Nobody does that for fun.
Yeah.
Well,
That scene, just all of that I really enjoyed.
Yeah, I agree with that. So,
Have you seen? I'm sorry, James. Have you seen? I'll think of it in a second. The Other Guys with
yes,
Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg.
yeah, I have.
When Mark Wahlberg's character shows off that he can dance ballet because he learned how to dance, ironically, in front of the queers who danced. I feel like that's almost why Matt Damon did it. He's like, I'm almost doing this just to prove that these idiots are dumb.
Well, that's the thing he says. You know, he basically compares himself to a musician, a really great musician like Mozart, Beethoven. When he looks at things like that, they just click.
They make sense.
And they make sense, and they stick in his head. That's why he got so mad at that guy, you know, when he was telling him, you know, I'm not going to do this stuff. And he says, you know, and he hands him that piece of paper that he basically created a whole new formula that simplified all these big equations, and he hands it to him, and he's like, you know, I'm tired. I'm not going to be sitting here explaining this stuff to you, and I really wish I didn't have to, because it's pathetic seeing you guys, you know, screw it up. And then he sets it on fire, and he looks at the guy, and I love the way that Skarsgård played that right then, because it just showed the difference and the hurt and disappointment and frustration on his face that this kid is wasting it, you know?
He doesn't even know he's wasting it.
Yeah, he doesn't even know he's wasting it
exactly.
either.
You guys totally reminded me of
knows he's wasting it, but doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, I think Brian's right.
Maybe towards the end, I think. But in the beginning, I don't think he even knew he was wasting it.
No, see, I think part of it I think you're right because of the blue collar, but I think the one where he knows he's smart, when you had that Harvard guy spout off something, and he walked up and said, oh yeah, that's on page 98 of this book, or why don't you do this?
95.
Well, 95, 98, you know. But, you know, I think he knows he's smart, but I actually think between his loyalty, and I just don't think he cares. He's like, you know, this is my life. I'll stick to it. You know, this is my lot.
He loves information. That's pretty much what it seems like to me, is he loves to have knowledge and interaction with the books. That's the thing that he loves, is to sit there. And that's why you saw him sitting there just reading the pages. Mm-hmm. That's why they had a couple scenes of that.
Mainly to screw with the shrinks.
Yeah, you know, and that's the other thing is I like the pre-shrinks you know, the things like that, and he pretty much played every one of them off them like they're perverts in some form or fetish.
And why are you gay?
Yeah, you know, and you know that's what he tried with Robin Williams when he totally turned and looked at him and goes, "You've married the wrong woman." And you know, and that's the thing where he says, you know, you looked at a painting of mine and you ripped my life apart. You know, but you don't know anything. And when he was talking and says, you know, like the visiting hours, and that doesn't apply to you, my wife was almost crying because that's how it was at the hospital. They didn't mess with her. She was supposed to be there for 5 minutes. They didn't mess with her. And that's the same thing is, you know, he doesn't know that. And he was trying to have that, but when Minnie Driver got close to him, that's the whole thing that came back to that. And that goes back to the section where he's sitting there and it's like, it's not your fault. Remember the first time I watched that, I'm just like, what is he doing?
Right.
You know, and then it kind of started clicking when he kept on saying it over and over again. I liked the way that they portrayed that off each other. Mm-hmm. That was a really well done scene.
I would also say another scene that was really well done is the one where she said, "I love you."
Yeah.
And he was so like what? No, and that's when you saw him reverse gears and insult her and try to get her to basically hate him, and you could see
he just set fire to the relationship in an instant. You know?
Yeah. One thing that I actually really appreciate about this film is that there's the
Gesundheit?
Take two.
Yeah, take two. Anyway, the insinuation of sex, but not the showing of sex, because I think that would have taken away from the movie, and I'm glad that they didn't go that route.
Yes.
And I don't think this goes back.
Gratuitous is the word
it would have been gratuitous.
I think it goes back to my theory on movies. The more sex and more body parts shown in a movie, the worse the writing is.
Yeah, and you know,
exactly what it is.
I had a crazy crush on Minnie Driver back then. That was when she was cute and hot, and
absolutely.
You know, it kept her mouth shut on some political views. But you know, hey, you know, but but
People
all
call me a
Hollywood
jerk
people
for
that
saying
did.
what
But
you
you
just
know,
said.
but
She was cute in this movie, but she did need to change
Yeah,
her
exactly.
political outlook in
yeah.
life.
Well, she also didn't need to take her top off to continue to be cute in the film.
Oh, and, well, she didn't get paid $500,000 like
That's
another
true.
well-known actress did.
But see, I would make note. I see that's the talent of anybody, whether male or female, that they don't have to do something sexy to be able to carry a scene.
Yes.
It's their ability
Right.
and the writing, the director, the producers that allow them to carry it without having to show nudity.
Well, the plot in this movie is so high concept that it really relies on really three-dimensional character performances and amazing writing of the moments. I mean, because you're watching just somebody grow just a little bit, you know what I mean? And it's the way that they focus on that takes real skill to write that.
And you know,
Well, yeah, exactly. How many did it say? How many years it took them to write this script?
no.
It was
No.
a while. They were working on it for a while. If I remember right.
It's so brilliant the way
Yeah.
all the characters are. You know what I mean? You feel everything of where they're coming from and their mindset then, and you agree with all the characters, even if it's contradictory.
Right.
You know?
You know what I would add? That one of the reasons this movie is amazing is the fact the plot is simple. I mean, it's an extremely simple plot.
Yeah.
It's a little thin, but when you put it on everything, especially what Ryan said with the amazing characters and everybody really being hashed out.
And the development
It's
of the
amazing.
characters. Yeah. Be able to write a script and write into it, okay, this character is going to act this way, and this character is going to act, their ability to tie this all together. When you read a script, if you've never read a script, when you read a script, it's not like reading the novel. Inside the script is the scene layout.
Yeah.
Everybody's got to, act and what the whole
Where
thing
they
is.
come in, where they're standing, where
Absolutely.
they're sitting, if they're reading a book, if they're drinking coffee, all
Whatever
that
it may
stuff.
be.
So
Exactly.
So
And, and there's a lot of choices that an actor's going to make when they read a bit of dialogue.
Yeah,
you know,
and they can,
what's
Oh,
the
yeah.
emotion behind it
especially
and all
when it comes into Robin Williams.
Oh, man, yeah. Well, and you said it, since he ad-libbed it, so much of it. Again, that's the genius of Robin Williams.
Yeah.
So with that being said,
something more than
Hold
just it was something about the beard and the hair. I don't. It made him this kind of soft, like approachable kind of character, but you saw none of the goofiness in his eyes.
Yeah.
you know,
None of the twinkle.
point
that
out
you
one
I want to
usually
answer
see.
something about that, too.
I would-
kind of wore down by life a little bit.
I would say he was more to me. The appearance he was kind of the burned out professor, the burned out smart guy who was just tired of the BS, tired of everything, and said, "I'm going to make an actual difference to people who actually care."
Yeah, but I mean, you saw really none of
The Robin Williams we know.
the big performance. Nothing was big. Everything was really drawn back. It was not the Robin
It
Williams.
wasn't
that
it wasn't the manic Robin Williams.
Yeah.
Robin
I
wasn't
felt-
any Robin Williams that we'd really seen. Even stuff like Dead Poet Society had sort of those moments.
Comedy
Yes.
elements.
Comes alive. And,
Yeah.
And I kind of thought while watching this movie is that, this is probably more in real life what Robin Williams is like.
Yeah.
I think this role
Like
was
such a regular guy.
yeah. This is as close to maybe being really how he is.
Yeah, and the way that he speaks about his wife, it's probably one of his ex-wives that was farting in her sleep and
Yeah,
stuff like
probably.
that.
He probably got that phone call, "You bastard,"
And she farted so loud one day she woke the
So-
dog up.
and herself.
Yeah. So, one thing I actually want to point out about this film was so genius that it was nominated for 20 awards. Many of which were for the 70th Academy Awards, which it won 2. It won for Best Supporting Actor, Robin Williams, and the Best Writing / Original Screenplay for Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. And then it also won the 55th Golden Globe Awards for Best Screenplay. So, I mean, that was saying something for two no-name guys who were writers.
Yeah.
And then they basically took a chance with Gus Van Sant, who was actually he really didn't have anything. And Mel Gibson was originally asked to direct the film, but he said he walked out on it. He said no, which is kind of interesting because of what.
I think it's kind of good too. I mean, Gus
I
Van
kind of
Sant
agree.
I agree. I'm
has
glad he
the-
walked out on it.
I agree.
So
And
with
also,
that being
did
said,
you-
what would you give it?
Hold on, I got one more thing.
Well, you got to.
This is an urban
Running out of
legend
time.
I'm the
as far as
official
I'm concerned,
timekeeper.
but Bob Saget was supposed to be originally casted for some role. I couldn't find out what role he was originally casted for.
And that's as much as I want to
And
know
I'm so
about Bob
happy
Saget.
he wasn't on any of it.
the dirtiest, most unfunniest person on the planet.
Oh well.
So
okay.
on that
You're
note,
welcome to
I
your
got
opinion.
I got one last question. Hey Ryan, do you like apples?
Yeah.
This movie deserves a 5. How do you like them apples?
So Ryan, what's your retort?
Oh no, this is a resounding 5, dude. I mean, this is one of the most perfect movies I've ever seen.
And I'm so glad I got to do that before you did it.
So Rob,
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm going to have to say that I was blown away by this movie, and I can't.
Had you seen it before?
I had not.
Okay. Oh wow.
So
Really?
that was what was so amazing to me is that all of a
Wow.
sudden I'm watching this movie and I got an opportunity to watch by myself, and I was watching it and I'm going, how did I miss this movie?
I know.
Because
right?
it is.
You missed this movie, Rob. I had no idea.
Yeah.
That
and he's
Yeah.
the movie, and he's
I know.
the
Oh,
OG
you're
movie
welcome.
nerd.
It's in my
I know.
wheelhouse. How I missed it, I don't know. But
So
Good Will Hunting was probably the second movie I bought on DVD when DVDs came out. It was A Beautiful Mind and probably Good Will Hunting.
yeah,
I'm so not going to say what my second DVD was.
The
So
Punisher, Dolph Lundgren.
No. I know what my first was. He got it. So I definitely I got to give it a 5 out of 5. There's so much of this movie we could probably talk about it for another half hour, but thankfully for the fans out there, we're not. So we're gonna go about Firefly episode 7, kind of switch gears.
what happened to our phone a friend? He didn't even call in.
Yeah.
We're losing our audience. Our
I
one
know.
guy.
What the heck?
So episode 7, and I'm gonna let Ryan go.
Oh,
Janestown.
what? I'm talking about the Firefly
Yep,
episode?
Janestown.
I thought I was doing fucking movie news.
You are
You
that
are.
too.
Okay.
It's all in
Well-
your shoulders.
Okay, well, to be perfectly honest, when you said episode 7, I was like, shit, I watched episode 6.
Oh, that's okay. I watched episode 8.
Nice.
So maybe between you and I,
See?
there's a 7 in there somewhere.
Well, see, Fox, this is all your damn fault for screwing stuff up.
No kidding.
Well, I mean, I've seen the episode or the series a couple of times before.
The Mutters
I was just
episode.
I just wanted to rewatch the episode again, but I watched the wrong one. Okay, but just real quick, kind of broadly, this is another show where the characters are really hashed out. You know what I mean? Everybody has their other side to them. That you know the kind of writing where you can kind of get to explore in a series like this. You know, where people act different around different people, and everybody sort of has their motivations from you know past to present. All of the characters are really three-dimensional, and it's a cross between a western and a sci-fi. And there's really nothing for me to not like about the show.
Yeah.
I do think this episode is the one you actually get to know more about Jane, besides the fact he's a goofy son of a bitch or wants to kill everybody.
Jamestown.
Yeah, it's Janestown.
Oh,
The one where he gets a statue and a song. And he's like, I have a song.
Right.
And at the end, he's at one of the scenes. He's walking down with with one of the bar bunnies, and he's singing the song and enjoying it.
So, actually, a little bit of trivia is actually Adam Baldwin stole the statue's head after this episode, and it's actually there's a little. If I have yet to do this, but there's a little Easter egg later on in the episodes where he's got the cracked head somewhere stashed on the Firefly.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
So that's
funny.
something we should keep an eye out for
Oh,
as we
yeah.
continue to watch this. But this is actually one of my favorite episodes. I
That's so
love.
funny.
I love the song.
I just love how funny the bar scene when they're sitting there,
Yeah.
and the song starts. And
the
Jane,
doctor.
anything
has
you
the
want to
best-
shed any light on this?
The
No.
the doctor has the best reaction. The hands in its head is like, ugh. Like you have a really bad hangover.
He does that a lot.
He does. He definitely does that a lot. But
With that crew, I would too.
I like
Drink
Wash.
more.
I love Wash's response to it. Can we go to the shitty little town where I'm hero next?
Right?
You know.
Or the what's her name was basically paid for so she could pop that one guy's the guy's son's virginity.
So we've come to an absolute dead still on this movie, and the
Well, it's-
show.
it's
and,
actually
it was
not
a
a-
good episode. I had a good time. Next,
Yeah. Anyway.
Well, there was more to
Well,
my
we
point.
we
but-
don't want to go too deep into the episode. Jeez, come on.
Okay, off the
only
episode.
Jonathan
well-
can make everything come to a screeching halt.
Well, before the bastards continue, Gonna say, remind you guys that we do have a Facebook page. Tell us, is there a theme you want us to do? Something like hate mail? Do you want like writing all these people and tell them why they really suck? Please let us know. Matter of fact, you can donate to the cause, buy us some movie passes, or just tell us why you think we're the best movie show on the internet.
Or somewhere in between, it'd be fine.
And Ryan, you're up.
All right, movie news. I actually wrote down a couple of things on a little card here.
Oh my God,
You
hard
heard that?
copy.
I know.
Okay,
Hopefully his writing's better than yours, James.
now in the
I can read mine just fine.
in this world of everything has become a comic book movie, and I've sort of lost track of all the shit that people are writing down for comic book movies. I've sort of just decided to kind of take them as they come. Although I was excited about hearing about one movie, and the reason I found out about it is because of a casting choice that the movie made, and then I was like, wait a minute, what is this movie? It's called Suicide Squad. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of it.
I've heard of it. I just recently ran into something, but I didn't actually read it.
So
Yes.
Harley Quinn.
I
James,
read this article.
or anybody, have you guys seen Wolf of Wall Street yet? Have you watched that?
Yes.
No.
Okay, the chick that played the Duchess with the crazy Long Island accent, the really hot blonde chick in the movie that was Leonardo DiCaprio's wife.
Okay, we'll take your word for it.
Okay, anyway, they cast her as Harley Quinn.
Interesting.
Right. Okay, now what do you think about this? Jared Leto is the Joker.
Wow.
I'll be completely honest. After what's his name, Brokeback, as James calls him.
We can call him Heath Ledger.
Thank you.
Does he really have to live down?
No, I'll
give the guy some credit.
I'll apologize. I was trying to remember his name. All I could remember is what James was called him. But after his death, I'll be honest. I never want to see another Joker, just because he to me is basically the definitive Joker besides Mark Hamill in the cartoons.
So wait. Go back to who you said, Jared Leto, right?
Jared
Is
Leto
the Joker
from Requiem for a Dream and the band 30 Seconds to Mars.
Did they say about how he's gonna play the Joker?
They did. I mean, it's really, really, really early stages, and it's really just a couple of casting choices. But just from what I remember of her name is Margot Robbie.
Yeah, Margot.
Margot.
Because I have
Margot.
to admit,
Spelled Margot.
Don't put a T there if you don't want a T.
I'm curious about her because
It's the
originally
French,
she was
bro.
made because of the cartoon.
No,
and
she'd be
everybody
pretty-
liked her in the Batman cartoon. They entered the comic book, so I'm kind of excited.
Right.
To
That
see
would
how
be
they
an
play
interesting
her.
thing.
But she was such a really, really awesome character that everybody's wanted to see, ever since. And they put her in pretty much all the video games and everything.
She's in everything. I think she's even in the comics at this point.
All right.
Right. I mean, really, after Wolf of Wall Street, I remembered all of her performance in that, and I'm really interested to see this one.
So,
So do you got anything else? I have two things.
Real quick, we're going to get another Bourne movie done by Paul Greengrass,
With
the guy
Matt
that did
Damon.
the original 3 in 2016, back with Matt Damon.
Yay.
So that'd be awesome. I know we're all Bourne fans
poor
here.
poor hot guy just got dethroned.
But I actually liked his
I like Bourne. I like
take
Bourne.
on it.
Yeah.
I did. I really did. I like Jeremy Renner.
Besides the 45-minute car chase scene.
That was done not by Paul Greengrass. That was sort of this
Yeah, I got it.
Oh yeah.
No, I understood.
the franchise, but
Yeah, it wasn't necessarily Bourne. It was the Bourne.
It's actually the reason that Matt Damon didn't do it is because this other director did, and he wanted to have sort of the loyalty to Greengrass.
That's good.
The last one was in the Bourne universe. This one brings it back to being
Yes.
Jason
Exactly, right back to Bourne.
or whatever
now,
his real name
moving
is.
on, I told you I was going to bring up Ben Affleck, and I can break down the stats if you want.
yeah.
According to Rotten Tomatoes and some math, amongst some really prestige directors, Ben Affleck is statistically the best director of the last decade.
Bullshit.
I can break it down.
All that bullshit. But I will point out this: Nolan hasn't beat. No, I did notice a thing.
The average score of the last decade is 85.8. Ben Affleck's is 94.67.
That's fanboys.
After Argo,
That's actually what I was going to bring up. Is Argo? Did you notice that CIA is actually coming out on Argo and saying what's real and what's Hollywood on Argo?
Really?
Yeah.
Shit, it was a good movie.
That's what I'm thinking. That's unnecessary.
Yeah.
Screw you, CIA. Stay out of the movies.
You know what?
This guy's
Maybe it was too close to home.
No, you know what it you know what it probably was. It was probably more. It was probably the real life was probably more ridiculous than the movie.
Yeah.
So they're probably like, come on, you got to play it up a little bit more.
But it really reeks of just some asshole walking up to a kid and snipping the line on his kite.
Yeah, that's what I'm like.
Or his yo-yo or something.
That's the only thing I want to bring it up way uncalled for.
So the CIA's being Yoko Ono?
Yeah.
Yeah. They're just idiots. God.
You got anything else?
No, just a couple of movies to look forward to coming up pretty soon, next year or so. Avengers: Age of Ultron, obviously the new Batman, and Ant-Man.
Shut up.
World. I'm not sure how you guys feel about a new Jurassic Park, especially after number 3.
I'll be honest.
I'm interested. I'm gonna give it a shot.
I'm excited about that. The Age of Ultron trailer. I'm not really excited actually.
I am, man. Just I got high hopes.
I'm gonna watch it.
I'll see it. Don't get me wrong.
I think we'll all go.
I don't have high hopes. I have low hopes.
Let me just say I'm underwhelmed so far by what I've seen.
Well, I try not to judge prejudge, but okay. Really, the last thing I wanted to bring up though was we are going to get a Deadpool movie.
I want to see that. I can't wait.
I am excited for that.
Can there be anybody else but Ryan Reynolds to pull that off?
No, there's nobody as goofy enough.
He was the perfect choice for that character.
Yeah. I agree. I got your guys' back on that completely.
Have you seen we posted to our Facebook page. It was like a test footage or something. Maybe it was part of a trailer, but the way he played it off was amazing.
Yeah.
So you got to check it out.
For anybody who knows Deadpool, it's one of the funniest comic books out there. I mean, it's such a favorite, and to everybody for many different reasons, not just the violence, but the
because he's
really smart ass. There's this he breaks down the fourth wall so much and talks directly to the reader, and it's really meta and really funny.
He's a comic book character who knows he's a comic book character.
Right.
Pretty much. I mean,
so to see him live action, man, it's going to be something else.
There's a movie I'll actually pay to see in 3D.
Yeah, for sure.
So
I got one thing I wanna.
Okay, you better make it quick.
I want to ask you guys. So, what do you guys think? Do you think Quentin Tarantino's time has come?
For what?
No.
He's planning on retiring right after he releases The Hateful Eight. He's announced it. He's more serious than ever.
The question
what they're saying.
Retired from what? Directing or movies? Because if it's
retired
movies,
for how long? For Christ's sake!
Well,
wait,
hold on. Here's the thing. I want him to retire from movies so he can do HBO's miniseries. I want to see an 8-episode long Tarantino movie. Because
he hasn't said. He just says he has a retirement plan set up for after his 10th movie, and I'm still thinking, dude, your time has not come yet. I mean, he's going to release it on 70 millimeter. Still.
Would you hear what he said though? That he's
again, Quentin Tarantino is a nut, and
he's crazy
for movies, and he's a nut for pop culture, and he's just kind of a little eccentric to begin with.
That's what I'm kind of thinking. I'm hoping this is just a drama play.
But
I don't even think it's that. I doubt it's that. He doesn't
I hope
seem
not.
This stunt press conference kind of guy, but he doesn't even hardly ever do that many interviews, or when he does it for 4 hours. But still,
he's really into his discography or whatever you call it. So I could see him. He's afraid of making a bad movie. So I've actually heard him in interviews talking about that he'll stop making movies before he makes.
He's so
a movie
neurotic
that
that's probably true.
But again, dude, retired for how long?
Yeah, that's what I'm
6 years
saying.
in, when he gets super bored and misses the shit out of
Exactly.
You know what he's going to do?
He's too young. I mean, he's going to have to do something.
See how old he is.
You know what he's going to
maybe
do?
40.
He's not 80 years old in bedroom.
You know what he's going to do? He's going to write the War and Peace version of movies.
51.
It'll be 5,000 pages, weigh 20 pounds, and have more neurotic information about movies than anybody actually needs to know.
I know, you're going to use it to squish War and Peace down.
Right? And so talk about movies next week is the old guy's pick.
So this was interesting. The first movie that I was going to pick, after reading IMDb, it's partly a comedy, so I can't use it. I'll have to wait for the next comedy pick.
Well, so is Good Morning Vietnam.
No, well, we did Good Morning Vietnam.
Okay.
Yes, that's
fair.
As long as it's
Is that fair
comedy drama.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then
It's
the one
dramedy.
I want is Patch Adams.
Okay.
That's a drama.
Yeah.
Yeah, drama comedy type of thing. I was
Yeah,
reading
no,
it.
that's a pretty bloody sad movie.
In spots, it certainly is.
I
But
would
I
say-
really enjoyed it. It's a good movie, and it's about a real guy too. Actually.
I would say it works perfectly because it's like, it's like parts of MASH. It's a dramedy. So definitely I think that's a
Okay,
good choice.
good. Then that's the pick.
Okay, and next week is episode 8, Out of Gas.
The one he
on
watched
Netflix,
this week.
Yeah.
So he's over prepared.
Episode 11.
I figured that I'd pull it up on Netflix before I
Wait.
announce it.
Wait, so we
Now
actually
I
did
gotta
our
go
homework
back and
this week?
watch 7 now.
Well, it only took me like 2 seconds, but sure.
I'm impressed. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen.
Boys and girls.
Yes, I'm hoping there's a lady out there watching.
Hi, Laura.
By the way, my apology.
Yeah, Laura. Hi, Laura.
Not likely, unfortunately. So
Really?
I gave Good Will Hunting
Lord.
1997 a 5. James gave it a 5. Ryan gave it a 5. Rob gave it a 5. Another rare trifecta.
Yep.
for
How do you like
Flix
them
reviews.
apples?
For 5s.
And next week's episode is episode 8 of Firefly. The fuck? And as always, we'll see you next week.
Goodbye.
Thank you.